We're live on Weather Impact Alive. You're looking live out at Levi's Stadium and yes, home of Super Bowl 60 with the kickoff at officially 6:30 p.m. And that would be Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 p.m. California time. What a gorgeous view out there in Santa Clara, California. And you compare and contrast that to our weather here. You know, our weather's going to be almost the same. I mean, we're going to be gorgeous as well, just a few degrees cooler. In fact, we take a look at those temperatures right now on the First Coast. We're officially 58 degrees in Jacksonville, low 50s at Neptune Beach, 57 in St. Augustine. And you know what? What a difference a week makes. I mean, last Sunday, we were in the single-digit wind chills. We set the record low wind chill for the month of February in Duval at 8 degrees officially at Craig Field. And this morning, yes, we did have the frost and freezes around, and they were on the light side, and they've now expired. And I don't see any more frosts or freezes for the next 10 days. So we're getting the Super Bowl win before the Super Bowl. This is a big win for us on Super Bowl Sunday, and it includes beautiful super sunshine out there at the beaches. You can see Neptune Beach right there, St. Augustine. What a gorgeous place just to visit, just to walk around, and it's a place we call home. Yeah, right here. We're vacation land. Isn't it nice to live here? 57 degrees, 58 in Jacksonville. But I've been going on over some recipes. Okay, we've got layers of chips, saucy meat, beans, cheese, salsa. Yeah, I'm thinking pickled jalapenos. I'm thinking, yeah, we're talking about some good eating as well to go with that weather that I just showed you here. And in fact, as we come back to the maps and take it here, I want to thank Katrina for being with us. And if you want to look back toward California, we can. I've got the forecast now for the Patriots-Seahawks Super Bowl game. And what I like most is it's outdoors. It's not in a dome where it does not belong. Football should be outdoors in the elements. And that's what it's all about, persevering, getting through sometimes rainy or snowy games. Of course, California, we don't have to worry about anything like that today. Our forecast showing low to mid 60s. Familiar? We're in the low 60s here at home. Could even see some mid 60s towards Lake City. But the big thing to pick out here, no rain. Okay, so we got a light northwest wind out there, and we got increasing clouds during the game, but I'm keeping the rain chances less than 10%. So you got Drake May, who knows how to throw the football. Sam Darnold. I'm thinking, yeah, we've got two really good defenses. Weather very quiet. It's going to be interesting. Okay. Nothing really to slow down either team. So in this type of setup, we're staying dry, great kicking weather. Okay, so for those that think it's a close game, I think it could be a close game. Nothing really to hamper the kicking game as well. So Patriots, Seahawks. And a lot of folks are asking, well, what am I picking in this game? Well, first of all, I'm picking out the best desserts because our Jaguars aren't playing, right? So we take a look here at home, and there's a lot of Super Bowl parties going on across the First Coast. And it does include a lot of folks, you know, we're spoiled rotten here and on the First Coast. We can take the game outside, a lot of cul-de-sac parties going on tonight. And the great news is we don't have any bitter wind chills. Temperatures will be around 60, right around sunset. And that'll be here with the 60-degree weather. And then notice we're really not falling much this evening. There could be actually a few increasing clouds. So dropping, nothing too cold, not as cold. That's my forecast, near 50 degrees at 9 o'clock. So looking very nice out there. And I'm enjoying that later sunset is what I was thinking about. So we'll have a little bit of extra daylight here in the evening. And we'll get to that sunrise sunset here. But let's take a look at how they match up. Well, most folks take a look at what's going on the field. I'm looking at the food matchup. So I've got all these recipes. We got loaded nachos, chickpea nachos, 7-layer dip, black bean dip, office chili, and red lentil chili. Okay, so Katrina's with me right now. Katrina, our first matchup on Super Bowl Sunday, loaded nachos versus the chickpea nachos. What do you got?
Loaded nachos.
Okay, you're going all out? I mean, it's Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Yeah, loaded nachos.
Okay, now you may have some guests that are vegetarian. Are they going to be okay? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're going to go. Here's Pringley's pick. Let's see if Katrina and we did it, Katrina. We're on the same page. Ding, 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 ding. All right, our next pick. All right, so we're already up 7-0 now. 7-layer dip versus the black bean dip. Now, I know you like the Mexican food. You were telling me that before. This could be a more difficult matchup. This is maybe a little tougher call. Not personally, but for you. So what do you got on the 7-layer dip versus the black bean dip? Where are you going to give that check mark to?
7-layer.
You going 7-layer? All right. Ding, 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 ding. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, there it is. All right. So I went with the 7-layer dip. My mother-in-law, Diane, made the best 7-layer dip in the world. And in fact, I brought it into First Coast News. First Coast News. My wife is really, she can make that as well. So I'm always a big fan of the 7-layer dip. But the black bean dip, that's something I would eat more on a Taco Tuesday, not a Super Bowl Sunday. And then we got one more. This could be tough. You know, the office chili versus the red lentil chili. And I like my red lentils. So this is more of a toss-up. This is going to be like a last-second field goal, I think. What do you think, Katrina? Office chili. You think we can go 3 in a row? I mean, it's tough to win 3 in a row. Here it comes. Computer's thinking. All right, it gave an extra. It kind of gave a half check mark to the red lentil chili. I like it. All right, but it's the office chili that wins out, and 3 for 3. Good job there. So whatever you're doing, celebrating, have fun this evening. Just be safe. And tomorrow is one of those days where it's an unofficial holiday in the United States. It's a day where most people call in sick. Okay, I got to be here. I got to get the weather forecast out. So don't, Katrina, I'll be here. Are you going to come in, or are you calling out sick like most Americans tomorrow? Okay. You don't have a fever right now? Oh, you know what? We're not done with our list yet. Okay, so Katrina and I, we love our Good Morning Jacksonville show. So, you know, we have to be really, really safe. Even if we're up late tonight watching the game, I look forward to seeing you every single morning. Air fryer wings I put on the list. It's just, you have to have the wings. I mean, you think the lemon pepper wings there, Katrina, or do you just like the air fryer wings, maybe with some Old Bay seasoning?
Anything spicy.
Anything spicy? Okay. There you go. So we picked out a few of them, but if you're a big chickpea nacho fan or red lentils, I wouldn't complain. So if I'm heading over to your house, I would eat all on the list there, but we just gave our 4 favorites there. So have fun at the Super Bowl parties. It's looking wonderful across Jacksonville. Good eating weather, and it should be a very nice evening shaping up. So let's get a little into little meteorology here. And it looks like, yeah, we got a First Coast News temperature of 57 degrees, a dew point of 43. And I'm watching those dew points. So one of the meteorologist's best friends, if somebody asks you a question, so what is the meteorologist, one of his best friends? It would be the dew points. Why? Because we, of course, love our forecasting, and we really look to the dew points to see what the atmosphere is doing. And I did say, I kind of gave it away at the beginning. I said, I don't see any more frosts or freezes for the next 10 days. Well, one of the indicators are the dew point, true measure of humidity, is staying above freezing, because at night, the temperatures love falling to those dew points, especially with the calm winds like we saw last night. But look at this. We stay above freezing, and we stay in the 40s. It looks like even in the 50s by mid to late week. So when you're seeing the dew point forecast staying above freezing, that's a sign that all that Arctic air, you remember our flow was coming right from the North Pole last week. It's gone. It's gone. And then as that moves out, our warming trend moves in. So putting the forecast together, I looked at my dew points this morning, and sure enough, we said if they're above freezing, your lows aren't going to go to freeze. And we have the next 10 days. We have a couple of chilly mornings, although models now going like 40, 41 for tomorrow morning, maybe Tuesday, maybe near 39, 40, no big change, but look at all the 50s in there. My goodness, it's like a heat wave compared to what we've seen. I mean, it's been so cold here. So we got 55 Thursday, 55 again Monday. There's a couple of little bumps in the road. We do have a couple fronts coming through. My hope is now that the subtropical jet stream is taking over, we are going to have some fronts that'll pick up some Gulf moisture, and we will have better chances of rain, because we are going to talk about that elevated fire danger here in this type of pattern. And unfortunately, our fire season's off to a red hot start, like a good month to 2 months early across the area. So we're very encouraged with what we're seeing, that dry air mass that tends to really cause not only those bitter cold temperatures, but it also causes the higher fire danger. Well, that dry air is starting to move out. So hopefully this is a sign that we can break out of this extremely dry pattern while warming up and help our fire risk. But today it's all about sunshine. In fact, Katrina, if you want to look back outside here, If you got a Jacksonville cam, you can do that. We got a UV index of 5, which is in the moderate range. And one thing that fools folks, see the sunrise 7:13, sunset at 6:09, showing you that nice later sunset. Nature can be kind of funny this time of year. Folks can get pretty good sunburns out there. Captain Alvarez, we have his fishing report on Good Morning Jacksonville every week. He says, if you don't have that sunscreen, even this time of year, you need it basically all year round here in Florida and South Georgia. So we look outside, beautiful at Jacksonville Beach. Yeah, I see it. And then we got the pier there, UV index of 5, which is a sunburn time in 35 minutes. But if you're heading out to the beach, look how nice it is, man. So beautiful. Just take it all in. Just make sure you have the sunscreen. Just another reminder here as we go into a beautiful sunny afternoon. Now check this out. Our travel weather. We take a look at folks traveling. A lot of travelers today for Super Bowl Sunday. 70s now coming up into Central Florida. That's a lot better. Orlando 71, and then we got 70 toward Tampa, Miami into the mid 70s. That's the direction our weather's coming from. And then you notice to the west toward New Orleans, Texas, Dallas, well into the 70s. So seeing things on the weather map we haven't seen in quite some time, where we're starting to see the warmer weather win the battle. Charlotte, no, they're not digging out from snow this time around on this Sunday. 43 degrees, and what snow they have left is melting quickly. Myrtle Beach also at 43 degrees. And what we're watching here for today's highs, this is reminding me of spring. Okay, so really my theme, if there's a big theme this week, we are going to spring things up. Super sunny weather here today. There's our lunchtime temperature right on track at 58. But just keep in mind, when you see the forecast numbers, you'll wake up on Good Morning Jacksonville, you'll see today's high of 63. Beaches are usually a good 5 and sometimes 10 degrees cooler this time of year because, yeah, the ocean is only like 54 degrees. So if you get a wind right over that cool water, it's like ice cubes in a punch bowl. So it's like you have this nice big punch bowl of goodness, and then you throw all these ice cubes in it, and then the wind's coming off that punch bowl, and it could keep you chilled. So notice St. Augustine, big difference between St. Augustine and Palatka. You got 60, all right, right at the beaches, 69 by the time you head inland toward Palatka. And look at Gainesville. They don't have to worry about any chilly water, okay? So the farther that wind travels inland, the less the chill effect. So 70 there. McClenny, Baker County, I know we're watching that fire risk, though, this afternoon, 68, 67 in Lake City. So just a big range of temperatures. So for you spring weather lovers, this is a great sign. And now Brunswick, I know you're not so thrilled with that 57, but eventually your water will warm up. You're going to have some warmer days as well this week. You're going to be good. Okay, forecast winds, there it is out of the northeast. 5 to 10. One thing I was watching this morning, so we know about the chill effect. What's it going to do to our fire danger? So remember on Saturday and Friday, we had some really gusty winds. That's not what you want. And we'll talk about that. Today, a lighter wind, which should keep our fire danger a little, it's elevated, but not quite as extensive as we had over the last couple of days. So that's good news. Fernandina Beach, just a reminder, we got the sunscreen. The water temperature is 53, and notice how much cooler, 59 for your high temperature as that northeast wind kicks up to about 10 miles per hour at 5 o'clock. We take a look at the big warm up. It's still on. I mean, we are talking 70 tomorrow, mid-70s Tuesday, Wednesday. Originally, a head up to 80 degrees was possible. We were talking about that on our streaming show last week here on our Weather Impact Show, and it looks like there will be too many clouds around this time around, okay? But if this forecast does change and if there's any updates, we could be closer to 80 on Tuesday, okay, with that sunshine. It could be one of those days where we jump nearly 40 degrees plus. So that's something to watch. Keep tuning in. I'll have the update on Good Morning Jacksonville tomorrow, but 76 may be closer to 80. And then Wednesday, we'd be a couple degrees cooler into the middle 70s. All right, so southwest winds. And look at the lows, staying above freezing and 52 by Wednesday morning. My goodness. So overall, from Duval to Nassau County up into areas of Camden and Glenn County, there's some pleasant temperatures compared to what we've seen. We've got low to mid 40s, 40 degrees in Folkestone. Not quite ready to get the tomatoes out yet, but hey, we're getting there. 39 for Lake City, looking great. If you're wondering, what are our average low temperatures? Usually low to mid 40s. So we're still maybe a smidge below, very close to normal. And then tomorrow, we should be in the mid to upper 60s this time of year. And here it is. We've got a beautiful map to share with you. Coastal areas a little cooler. There's that difference I was talking about, 62 in Sawgrass to 70 in Jacksonville, and then 72 back toward McClenny and Gainesville into the middle 70s out there. So we look at the change in the upper level pattern. we had the jet stream coming right from the North Pole last week, right? And if you look at this map, it's full of colors. You're saying, what in the world? Okay, I get it. So you got two stripes. You got a green stripe on the bottom, and then above that, you got like a yellow and a green stripe. So those are the two jet streams. And when those two jet streams are split, just think of them like tree branches there. They're split in two. So that means, yeah, the winter weather usually stays much farther north in this type of pattern. They're not working together. And if anything, we're on that southern branch, okay? That's the warm side. We're more on the subtropical side. See how the arrows are coming more from California, Baja California, the Pacific? I like seeing that. And I'm really, all along, as I said, as we head towards spring, I'm really thinking that that subtropical jet will really influence our weather. We could dive right into spring pretty fast with this setup and get some of that needed rainfall. So we're going to be watching that subtropical or the southern branch of the jet stream very carefully over the next few days, not just the next few days, but the next few weeks. See if it can enhance some of our rainfall so we can help start to at least chisel away at the drought out there. Snowpack across the US of A. One of the reasons we talked about the punch bowl full of ice cubes, one of the reasons we've stayed colder and this warm up would have been sooner is this big snowpack because this high pressure came over the snowpack over the last few days. And again, the air is chilled, okay, because it's going over all of that snow up in the Carolinas, the DMV. Ooh. New York City, okay, Boston, yeah, just snow covered up there. But again, you're starting to see the snowpack erode, and that'll continue this week. DC could even be in the 40s a couple days. They had their coldest 10 to 14 day spell since the 1980s. So starting to see some changes to the north, warmer changes, and that'll help us here down in the deep south, especially if you like the warmer weather. Snow forecast this week, not seeing too much. Out west, the hope is we can shift some of that moisture towards Salt Lake City, where they're about 3 feet below average on snowfall. So that big trough we've been watching, colder weather would shift west. And then here in the east, we're going to be much warmer. And maybe a clipper trying to get started. Here's Thursday, so through February 12th. Let's get into Friday, Saturday. Yeah, it's showing another front coming through with maybe a light coating of snow. Could be from Columbia, Missouri into the Carolinas. So we'll watch our friends there once again. But in this sort of pattern, though, the deeper blues, okay, we see out west and up toward Quebec, northern New England. That's really going to be your snow belt in this type of setup with those jet streams. So for us, we're sitting pretty. Yeah, we're going to have some little bumps in the road, but this is amazing. Look at this. We got temperatures should be at 68 this time of year. And it looks like by tomorrow, I'm thinking temperatures will be at least at normal or well above average. And you can see we're really going to be sitting pretty by Tuesday, Wednesday, and that could be even warmer on Tuesday. Next week, there's a front coming. You get these little backdoor fronts that could bump us down a bit with clouds. Showers, if we do get rain as forecast, I'd say it'd be better chance would be next weekend. But again, those temperatures, nothing cold at all, right? 67, 72, just a little chilly at times. By Florida standards, right? But this is much different than what we've been dealing with. So enjoy. So in this pattern, still overall, we're warmer, but overall it's still a much drier pattern. So just a reminder, when you see red flag warning, there were a lot of questions. So what in the world is a red flag warning? You saw your First Coast News apps yesterday. They were red. And to explain this clearly, really when your relative humidity is below 35%, wind speeds greater than 15 miles per hour, like we saw yesterday. High energy release component in the atmosphere. We've been so dry, and our drought is going on, since well before the hurricane season, and many deficits of 10 to 15 inches. You don't want a lot of wind around, and you don't want these very dry air masses to come around. So that's why I need that subtropical jet stream to stay active with us, keep bringing in the higher humidity and some higher chances of rain, because we do not want a nasty fire season, because usually, it doesn't really get started until we have it into later in March. And here we are, and we're only February 7th, 8th now, and we've already had some fire issues across the area. So no red flag warnings in this forecast is the good news. This was the forecast earlier. You see Sunday, Monday, critical, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I've updated this. This is when I came to work. This is what I saw, a lot of pink and red. But based on those higher dew points, we're keeping it more in the elevated range. I don't think we're extreme or critical or have any red flag warnings in this type of setup. But notice, if we do see any new wildfires spawn across the area, the concern would still be west of the St. Johns River. That sea breeze that's bringing in that cooler weather also has higher humidity. So if you notice, Mayport, St. Augustine at 71% humidity, you compare that to 30% in Lake City. So higher numbers are good for lower fire risk. And then you see the lower numbers, those are bad. You get toward Alachua County, just 25% humidity. And that's where we'll have to watch out for the fire risk. And then tonight, we're okay. Tomorrow, once again, heat up in the afternoon, lower humidity. Sea breeze, we'll have more of a sea breeze influence again. So again, the highest fire risk the next couple of days would stay inland. And then that trend will continue. Although by later in the week, it does look like higher dew points will help us out. And hopefully we can lower that fire risk that I showed you on that graph. Tips to help prevent wildfires. Just a reminder, never ever throw cigarette butts out your car window. That's a no, especially as dry as we've been. And that's been known to start big fires. Avoid open burning on dry and windy days. Yeah, that's a great idea, and really not the best to do fire pits is what I tell folks. And I love my fire pits, but for now, I would hold off on that. And then keep the car off the grassy areas and chains from dangling on the road. So car parts and chains dangling on the road can also spark a wildfire as well. So just be careful. Be careful where you're parking and be attentive, right? Be aware of your surroundings. Hey, we take a look at the 7-day forecast and we take a look at our beautiful pattern. We start with 63 today, back to the 70s. Rain chances, that's what we need to help our fire risk. And notice the best I can do at this point, 20%, maybe a little higher, but overall, very low on the fire risk. So we're going to continue to see that trend as we head into definitely the next 7 to 10 days. Now, here's the 10-day forecast. Hey, we've got a big forecast because Valentine's Day is next Saturday. So, we're going to hold the rain off if we have the best chance of rain, it looks like, until Sunday. That's after Valentine's Day. But notice, not good news for our fire season. If there is good news, though, in some respects, it is that we're seeing those higher dew points. So again, just keep checking back with us day to day, and we'll continue to check on that fire risk across the area in this very dry pattern. All right, so I mentioned a big day, Valentine's Day. There it is. Let's let the hearts fly. And you can see here in Jacksonville, we haven't had any rain on Valentine's Day since 2021, and that was a record setter, just over 1.3 inches of rain. Okay, we could use that right about now, but yeah, for Valentine's this year, I'm still leaning drier. So I think this year would be 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th straight year you can take your loved one out. Celebrate with each other without worrying about any rain. As far as those temperatures go, notice last year we're at 68, a low of 52. I think we're going to be pretty close to where we were the last couple of Valentine's days, in the mid to upper 60s. And we have that 75. Boy, it was a nice warm Valentine's back in 2023. Coldest Valentine's on record, 16 set back in 1899. Nope, not this year. 86, the record set back in 1959. We'll be closer to that than that 16, thank goodness. And I don't expect any rainfall. In fact, no record rainfall like we saw in 2021. Here's your Valentine's forecast. And there it is, a lovely day. Of course, I always call for a lovely day on Valentine's. It's a high of 67. There may be some chilly hands here, but not cold hands like we saw with this polar outbreak last week. I have warm hearts, chilly hands, warm hearts, lovely day, a high of 67. And that sunset at 6:14, that northeast wind will give it a little chill out there. But again, I'm keeping that rain chance to just 20%. And if you have a getaway with your loved one, maybe as you head toward Valentine's Day, I do think much of the country stays quiet this week into next weekend. So here's a forecast for today. You're traveling up north. Aren't you glad we live here? We go from 63 in Jacksonville to 17 in Boston. And good luck to the Patriots today, to all my New England friends. 30 in Chicago, and then back to Seattle. You got 50 degrees, so Seattle with some rain showers. Good luck to my Seahawks friends. And then San Francisco, 61 with maybe some rain moving in tomorrow. But for the game, nice and dry, looking good. Look at the 82 in LA, 82 in Brownsville. So really, finally, we're seeing a big break in that polar jet stream lifting to the north across the country. We're keeping all the really bad winter stuff more up to Canada where it belongs. And here in the South, we'll continue to watch the warm up as we head through the next 7 to 10 days. So if you're just joining us on streaming, updating you on a beautiful week ahead, and that does include above normal temperatures. And the only thing is these low chances of rain. So we'll continue to watch that elevated fire risk. But my weather pick of the week, I'm thinking is Tuesday. That's 76 based on the latest data, and could be more like 78 to 80. And keep in mind with the dry soil, I would not be surprised if we have a couple areas near 80 degrees. So get out and enjoy. You see a few clouds coming in late tonight. Sunshine will win. And so will our beautiful weather. So for our Super Bowl Sunday, it is a win-win all the way around. Super time out there. Send me some of your pictures. We'll be at First Coast News Weather Watchers. Check out our Facebook page. And of course, I'll keep you updated here on Weather Impact Live. I want to thank Katrina. Katrina, good job on the recipes, the Super Bowl recipes and your picks. And to you, thank you, my friends, as always. I'll see you next time.